something like that.
And even if we could, like, everyone would just have Rogue's DNA, so we'd just have like a bunch of Rogues, you know, the same style. But
we're gonna attack the clones, attack the Rogues.
Okay, so TY is not going for the build that I was suggesting that we see a lot. This is the other build, really, for the map. 3 racks Reaper is what this looks like it's going to end up being. And, of course, this is a very strong one as well. TY, very good at micro. Like, if this was Beyond, I'd be like, okay, he's probably dead. Because, like, Beyond is, like, the greatest Reaper player on Earth. But I haven't seen TY do this strategy that often, really.
Well, you know what's interesting about it as well is when you get a player like TY who could very well be in the finals, like, that's a completely reasonable, you know, bet to make. Like, I'm pretty sure he'll get there. The fact that there are no Zergs left and he only has to win one more game and he does this strat means TY clearly thinks this is still a very strong strat. Yeah. It's not like TY. If TY wins this, there's a very high chance that Rogue can't get out of the group. I mean, hopefully he can still, but he doesn't. TY doesn't need to like hide any more strats. Whereas,
especially against Zerg.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at.
And
so that's pretty interesting.
Even if he uses, if they both get out, they couldn't meet again until the finals.
Exactly.
And that would be 1, 2, 3 weeks later. So it like doesn't even matter because the meta will change some and all that, and he'll have new stuff. So yeah, this is like TY going all out here against Rogue.
So we got the Reapers coming out here, and the Command Center is going to be next. Now remember, when you do these Reaper builds, it's pretty tricky for Zerg to deal with, but you do not have a solid solid Marine count later on. You do not.
Yeah, you have to get value out of these.
So yeah, if Zerg just deflects everything, then you have these units that have no equity like every minute that passes in the game later on.
And you know, the one place where I would say that is otherwise is
oh
my God.
Nicely done.
That is so good for Rogue. Like, this is a terrible situation. Now, you're really not even supposed to lose one Reaper during this.
That's right.
And that kind of shows, I guess, a lack of complete familiarity. Like, you will never see Beyond lose those 3 Reapers there. It will not occur.
It was a good setup, though, by Rogue. He had that one Queen pop out. Really took advantage of that moment. Also, pretty cool to see how TY handled that. Notice the moment he saw the Lings, he shot grenades under the feet of the Reapers to see if he could actually bounce them out. But
he tried to rocket jump over them, but it did not work out.
He thought he was in Quake.
I heard that they are making a new Quake.
Are they really?
Yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Well, that's
always
cool.
A big Quake fan.
Yeah, you were a Quake guy, weren't you?
I loved Quake. It was like my second favorite game to StarCraft.
There were no LAN cafes where there were diehard Quake guys.
I just played online.
My neck of the wood. I didn't have internet back then. That was But I did go to a LAN cafe and see CS 1.6.
Yeah.
No Artosis.
You should have seen.
You can lie here. No, nobody that you knew back then is watching. Because like I was, top 20 in the USA, but everybody else that went to tournaments was like top 12, top 16.
Oh my!
I won't tell anybody Artosis.
Yeah, I mean. I'm not.
In case you guys are also watching, I was rank 15 in the USA in POGs, but I just never went to tournaments because I had a life.
And of course, we both, just like every other human from America, were the greatest James Bond GoldenEye players of all time.
That's right. I'm pretty sure me and the 3 kids in my neighborhood were top 3 in the world. He's actually going to get the hatch. Look at that.
Yeah, forces the cancel there. So still getting some value out of these Reapers.
Well, that's actually about as good a value as he could probably ask for.
Yeah.
I guess ideally he kills a hatch, but that would be a fault of TY, not a brilliant, or rather a fault of Rogue, not a brilliant move by TY. So not bad. Still managing to do some damage. Now, Zerg may very well try to do a little bit of a counter push here. Well, hold on.
Where are those going?
What is...
Oh, okay. He's going to make a wall right there. Oh, that's kind of cool. He knows that, of course, Rogue does have Roach Tech out, so an attack could be coming up here, and it would be scary for him to do that on open ground.
I was confused at first when I saw the SCVs. I'm like, does he think he can repair the Marines with that? That's going to be really embarrassing.
I'm like, is this a 3 SCV pull? I don't think that makes enough difference to you.
The Lings just surrounded perfectly. I'm like, okay, I guess that's not good. Okay, so let's see. Rogue can really take this game in 2 ways. Rogue can either try to mass up and macro up, or he could try to do a counter push. Now, interestingly enough, TY is going to try to push out and put some pressure on here.
Yeah, well, I think he should too, because he still has these Reapers that can still be useful. As the supplies get higher, they get worse and worse. Oh man, they get surrounded very quickly there. So.
But you know what?
He clears a good amount of Lings with that.
With those grenades, I mean, that was a pretty good job.
Yeah.
He might actually know some kind of window timing here. No, I think Terran's going to have to back up. Never mind.
Yeah, no.
This is like the problem
I
when you
think
cast TY is everything he does. I'm like, well, that's so good. Here's what he's trying to do. And it's like, no, he's
No,
like, I'm just seeing if I could kill some stuff.
It's those Reapers are like Enron stock, man. He's just like trying to get rid of them at this point, you know, just like doing anything he can. Like he's like, oh wait, can I trade these for a few Zerglings? Okay, I guess I may as well.
Well, I mean, anything you can do to get equity out of them. I mean, they're not going to have a lot of utility later on. That's one of the big problems with the Reapers. They're scary early on, but when you invest a lot in them, they can't do as much later on in the game. We got an overseer coming here to scout and survey where exactly this game is. And this is actually a pretty good scout here by Rogue. He sees the factory he's about to finish, which is definitely helpful to see where the rhythm of the game is at. You know, what tempo exactly TY has as far as pushing and dropping, because you can't get that starport until the factory's done. So
yeah, and that's like it's super important information. 1-1 is finishing up for TY, so that's really good. And he has 3 bases up and mining, so he's got a great economy going on. But look at Rogue right now. He is on top of things. He's going in the infestation pit. I kind of feel like that's for infestors, but of course the slightly older style of Zerg would call for going to ultras very quickly off the back of Roach Ravager. And his creep spread is really quite fantastic.
Yeah, he's getting all 3 of the primary lanes out there pretty creeped up at this point in time.
Yeah.
And the TY is staying back and playing very safe. But it's just, okay, I was going to say, I would be surprised if Zerg actually attacked into that. Looks like he was just peeking in there. Yeah, Zerg is going to stay back here. Let's remember, there it is. If there's ever a hive this game, Artos is going to be there.
Where was it?
It was in the main.
See, I don't even look at buildings, man. I'm just like
we could sound better than the last cast.
I like to watch the mini map. But yeah, look, Rogue is going to keep him back a little bit, keep this creep spread out as far as he possibly can. The creep spread's still looking absolutely fantastic here from Rogue. Really a great job on that. Love to watch this type of thing. TY actually just, I like that usage of the Reapers, right? Like he can stop a little bit of creep, and you know, he can watch for any units trying to attack him from that side, because that's really his weak side. That's where his third base is.
Now, note that Terran's focusing on gunning down the creep up here, and that's because Terran has correctly assessed that Zerg is taking the top center. So this is a big tell that Terran will definitely be pushing through this location at the top here. It may be the second move after a drop, let's say in the main, right before that push happens. But in the meanwhile, I think TY is definitely handling this correctly. Of course, it's not that difficult, really, for Rogue to see what TY is setting up for at this point in time. Infestors, by the way, also out here. We'll see if we can't get any great fungals here. That obviously combos well with the Ravagers and the Corrosive Vial.
Roach is coming up to clear this drop from TY. This drop is, he's not really expecting it to do a whole hell of a lot, but he wants to keep Rogue as busy as possible and see exactly where he's at tech-wise.
Meanwhile, another push over here to clean up some more of that creep. I think these medevacs might actually be stuck up here, Artosis. He may have to try to do a push or feint a push and then try to drop with those in a little bit, because right now those are just 2 flying markers on the map and nothing more. It's going to be very tough. It looks like he's going to start chucking corrosive vials at it from here.
Oh, I like that.
Can he get that?
I don't think not quite.
I guess just not quite in range.
Yeah. Spire on the way. Ultra's Cavern is finishing up. Adrenal Glands as well, switching over into those melee upgrades. Definitely something he wants to do as he transitions in this later game more into the Ultralisks.
So we have another drop over here in the bottom left to try to clean up creep on that side of the map as well. And we see immediately Rogue is going to take a detour here and go to that side of the map. Now we may have another attack over here at the upper right as he tries to get that creep there. Just trying to stay away from the Zerg army full on because it's just too strong.
And he's starting his real push now. He does have some tanks. Ultras are going to be popping out, so I do feel like there is enough here. But I like how he's like positioning these medevacs still, not quite losing them. Kind of being like, hey, keep your units back a little bit. Don't meet me up here. Let me get entrenched. And here we go. He is going to siege up. And, ooh, very nice fungal, but not followed up by vials there.
Going to try to drop over here, but immediately chased out. Fungals come down and get Corrosive Vial connecting there nicely on that medevac. One very bruised Ultralist. He might have to shuffle that into the back of the army.
He still has a Reaper. Do Reaper grenades make Ultras jump too? I would imagine they do, right? I just haven't seen it.
I actually have no idea.
All the Reapers are always dead before the Ultras get out. That's so weird.
And we both played Protoss. Like, I don't know what to do. How would I know that? Okay, he actually gets the hatch. You know, if he wants to, he could try to back up. and just cover his expansion. But it may be more worth it to try to attack in here. Let's see.
The Reaper does go down, unfortunately. We won't figure that out today. The Ultra gets picked off here. I think that Rogue needs to pull back.
Well, he's got a lot of Marauders here. It looks like, it's only like 4 or 5, but it looks like it could be enough. That does force the army back here. TY may just keep on pushing.
Yeah, he's continuing to micro here, but as the Ultras pop out, it becomes a lot harder. He runs back with a nice Liberation Zone. And that Liberator will be picked off by the Corrosive Vials, and he gets pushed back. Rogue is taking a new 4th down at that bottom base, but his creep spread on that side is not nearly as good. TY's done a good job of denying that.
He may need to set up and try to do a counterattack there on that center right base, and maybe try to take that top center base again. I guess we'll see. He's pretty sparse on resources.
Yeah,
but
that is tough.
Also, I guess if Terran can actually hold that base there, then the top center base is like the worst spot to. Oh no, he's going to do it anyways.
Yeah, I think it's like he almost has to. There's no creep spread down in the bottom left area, so it's like really hard to do anything else. But this is a very good run by Rogue. Something he's been missing out on this game a little bit are these run bys, which he did so much in the round of 32.
Well, it's funny because he hasn't really done any in this series, and that's really a testament to the fact that he's still kind of holding his own here against TY. When you just consider all these other factors as well here. Most of their Zergs are everywhere harassing, and eventually the Terran kind of falls apart. The wheels begin to roll off of the car.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's see if he can't get a few more of those off and maybe then eventually counter into this base over here in the center right. Now, there's a good wall in, so already TY making some adjustments to make this no longer a possibility, or at least a lot harder to pull off.
Yeah, he's got to slow him down at least. I like his choice for his 4th base location as well. Up at the top, as you said, it's going to be a lot easier for him to push towards that base and defend. And we have Liberator range on the way. Pretty cool. We don't see that from Korean Terrans all that often.
Well, there were some Ravagers out there with the Corrosive Vial, and of course he's getting Corruptors, so maybe having Liberator range, he can make these turrets like we see setting up here, keep the Liberators back under that, and still have a lot of range to push forward. So I think this is a pretty smart move.
Yeah,
and of course,
I love that.
And of course, it's going to be very easy for him to rally up to this point in time. In fact, I'm looking at this, Artosis. This may be too hard for Rogue to deal with.
Dude, this is
look at this.
This is fantastic.
This is really good.
That 4th base up there that he's remade, you can't hold that against this, right?
No way.
This push will kill that eventually.
Yeah, this 5th is going to go down.
And the turrets are just like, he has this, that is so defensible in there. Like, I feel like he needs Vipers to have any chance to break through an area like that.
And even if he could break through with that, that's a smart move by TY, forcing Rogue to go into another tech lead and spend more gas when those are not necessarily the ideal units you want to have in this situation. And a little cheeky drop coming here on the center left. That's right, cheeky I worked with Apollo for a week, and now I'm saying cheeky all the time.
Oh, my. Good Spore placement there. Doesn't really get the damage he's looking for. More turrets on the way. Lots of Corrosive Vials raining down, but, I love the fact that TY is also going Ghosts. Like, this area that he's in is so something you can't attack that the Ghosts are going to have an easy time lining up snipes.
Okay, he's going to try to possibly run through here again and see what damage he can do. I just don't know if this is actually... I don't know if this is actually going to work. I mean, look at this. Look at this. I mean, how are you going to stop that? Okay,
that's so scary.
He gets the hatchery again. Really, TY is scoring all of his points up here at the top center of the map.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of resources that Rogue is invested in just trying to hold on to that location. Now, but in his defense, he is expanding to the bottom left, so I think Rogue may retract from trying to control the top center.
Yes. I'm really liking how Rogue is expanding towards the bottom left right now, because when you're doing these really slow, entrenched pushes like what TY is doing, the best thing to do as the other player is to expand in the other direction and just use your mobility. Like, let TY take over that area for now. Eventually, he'll pull out. You can clean up the turrets and retake that. But it's going to be much harder. How does TY attack this bottom left base? He's trying to do a drop, but, like, you can't just kill that for free like the top can be killed.
Yeah, well, now at the bottom left, I mean, basically Terran walled off the bottom center so Zerg couldn't get in there and just started expanding and crawling up to the upper right. Hold up here. We got a push coming in here.
Yeah, I think we should give this up maybe too. Like,
You might be right. Now, I think if he loses this, though, that actually could be problematic. He's going to start having any equity on the map here. Good fungals there.
Those fungals are so good.
And some of them are still going to get away. The Ghost 2 managed to escape.
Okay, that was a good defense. I think he did lose a lot of units, but like those fungals interrupting the snipes.
Dude, 5 ultras, 44 lings coming up here now. Okay, so that was pretty cool. Now, hold on a second. If we look at the minimap, let's say that Zerg, even if Zerg keeps this base, the one closest to the right, there's actually only one more location to take, which Zerg is expanding to right now in the bottom left, and then that's basically it. Everything else is in Terran turf. Sometimes when the map's cut in half like this, it actually people just lose because they can't get another base up, and Terran can just turtle. Terran might be in a situation where it's more appropriate to just not try to continue to push.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. He's actually kind of going after the turrets a little bit. Probably wants to fly in with these Corruptors. You know, late game for Zerg, at least in the recent metagame in Korea, is so much about the Corruptors killing all the flying units and giving Zerg that ridiculous advantage.
You know what's funny, Artosis?
Yeah?
Let's say that Zerg wins a fight here at the top and actually breaks the turrets. The upper right bases are going to be completely accessible. That may actually be the game plan here for Rogue. If he can take out the upper right bases, that's the only... Terran's using kind of a one-all to try to hold up any Zerg pushes from this side of the map. But Rogue actually breaks this nice snipe. If Rogue busts this, that could turn this game on its head and TY could lose.
Yeah, you know, I hesitate to even say this idea I have out loud, Tasteless, but this is the one game where I'd love to see him make a Nidus so that he could attack that bottom a little bit.
That would be so sick.
Like, if he could just send some units through at the very second TY is not attacking, putting pressure on here, and just hit that right there, exactly right there, really, really strongly, TY will have to pull back or go for a base trade, and with the Nidus, he can defend.
I think that's really cool what you're thinking. I actually want to see him do that.
Yeah, no.
I'm actually really glad you said that.
Normally, Nidus stuff is fan fiction, but we have huge economies right now. They both are, like, maxed out with, like, amazing armies. I feel like this is the time for a move like that.
Well, it looks like he might not. He's going for a second Spire.
All our EU Terrans like, Nurture does that all the time.
Okay, he's going to try to push through again. Let's see.
Man, this push.
But yeah, to be honest, I think maybe it might be too late now, but I would say that might have been actually the play. He's trying to bust out with Nidus.
Yeah, like if you take out that third base area, it opens up his backside. But here we go. He is going to rush in here. So many Banelings rolling through. The Ultras as well. There's a ton of ghosts back here. Is there a way to actually interrupt? I guess he could go in with those Banelings.
He's continuing to push forward.
Man.
The Ultras are tearing down these turrets. And that means that Zerg can take the upper right location on the map. Or not.
Cloak is good snipes. He does back up because of the fact that those are all cloaked and he doesn't want to lose his expensive army. But that was an important moment in this game.
Well, if he gets an Overseer and gets the rest of these Lings out, maybe he can do it.
All right, Ling's coming up to help clear this out. He will get that medevac as well. Very annoying what he's having to deal with right there. He has to remake that Bailey nest. I hope he remembers too.
Okay, so the Lings have hatched. I would hope that he's going to try to push up here. Terran has lost this foothold in the top center. So now Zerg, if Zerg wants to, can expand to the top center. Although I think Zerg might be okay on minerals. Maybe Zerg can wait on that one.
Yeah, like he's going to want another base when he can get one, but I guess those bottom 3 bases are going fine. And, you know, if you're mining 3 bases, then like a little bit of another one, that's a really sick economy. That's like about as many drones as you want anyways. So I think he's all right for a little bit longer. But the place where sometimes Terran takes it forth, like below that 3rd base area, I love that he already has creep there. That's a no man's land. He's got that supply depot up, but if he wants us to keep these bases up here, his army has to remain up here.
Also, keep in mind, the longer the Terran has those bases in the upper right, they will eventually mine out. Terran is going to be landing a lot of mules, obviously, in this game. So, I mean, that's something to keep in mind as well. Is what if Terran mines out the upper right, and then Terran has to expand either the top center or the bottom center? That might be harder to hold because I don't know exactly how much Zerg is mined from the bottom left, but there's a chance that Terran ends up out-mining, which is kind of a weird paradox in StarCraft.
Yeah.
It's always been there from all the way even before Brood War to our current iteration of StarCraft 2 here in Legacy, where occasionally you can mine out and you get too aggressive and you don't get enough value out of your resources, and then the guy that didn't mine out eventually ends up winning the game, and that's a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but let's keep that in the back of our heads, guys, because that could definitely be something that occurs in this game.
Yeah, this is what a wild game. This is like one of the best macro TVZs we've seen in a long time. Okay, finally we're seeing Rogue actually go for an attack elsewhere. Goes right up the center with these lings, and this is forcing TY's army to retreat. So this is where, as the army comes in, maybe Rogue can make another move up in the top center.
He may even want to try to just, no, I guess he can't actually run into the main now. The rest of this army's down here. Doesn't seem like there was much of a follow-up attack.
Yeah, no, this is the one thing I think Rogue is doing wrong here. I feel like he should have been on the edge of his creep with this army right here, and immediately cleared out anything around that area that we've seen all the fighting with the turrets, the Liberators, all that. Because as soon as the Bio army comes down, the rest of Rogue's army will absolutely kill whatever's left over. And even if that's just turrets, that helps a lot right now.
Uh-oh, this is not going to fare well for this Liberator. Going to try to go over here to the far left corner. Looks like it actually will get over there. No, you're totally right, Artosis. This is like super interesting. Okay, eventually that is taken out.
But yeah, more and more Liberators on the way. Like, this entrenched position still going to be a very tough one to break.
Oh my God, that is a comical amount of
Unlimited Banelings. 32 more.
Infinity Banelings.
What's he going to do? Kill a bunch of Thors? Like, this is a Nestea number of Banelings right now.
We could get a supercomputer. It couldn't count that many Banelings. It's just too.
Get the production tab and the unit tab too somehow.
No. The game
Those
just
are
crashes.
errors,
There's just too many Banelings. This is that's crazy. Now that might be enough to tear through that entire upper right part of the map. Now I keep saying this, but the ghost control here by TY is pretty good. He ends up gunning down the ultras, but if he wasn't doing it as well of a job, that upper right location wouldn't be there.
Yeah, the ghosts are such an important piece of this, but that's another reason why he has all these Banelings. Like, you can try to throw down fungals to deal with the ghosts, but that's not always going to work. If you have a bunch of Banelings, you can hit ghosts even if they're cloaked. You can manually detonate and all that, and he just has to make sure that the snipes aren't killing everything, because that's like the most effective or cost efficient you can be.
Okay, we have.
Look at where he's expanding. Oh my God.
He's just going to do it, man. Look at this. Well, here's what's funny. Okay, so Terran's almost maxed out, so it's not like necessarily a rally point of units is going to come down there and he can get it. He actually has to move some of this.
He has to move a chunk of army.
Yeah, he has to move a chunk of his army down here to the bottom. Now, I don't know if this is the wisest thing to do, but he's doing it.
This is a funny thing. Well, maybe he can get him out of position here again. Okay, the
the boss, Ultralisk. There's a lone Ultra down here.
Kills the whole army. Like, oh my God, that's like so gross. No, it gets cleaned up pretty quickly. Okay, this time he tries to get in there and do something. But
oh my
still,
God,
oh man, look at all those mines.
He's laying a command center up there next to the hatchery.
Oh God, this is so crazy.
This is so crazy.
With the Widow Mines, the turrets, the Liberators, and the Ghosts, plus a Bioforce in there. This is like, okay, TY is set up the sickest no man land.
He's he's headed southbound, dude. No way he's not. Now he's headed northbound again.
I want him going south.
I thought he was going to go south and then loop around and try to get in the main.
Do you see this? Do you see this? What are we watching? Oh my God.
This is happening.
This is such an epic game.
Oh, he's going to try to come in. He's got to back up, pull back some of that army.
Oh. More racks on the way for TY. He wants to be able to remax instantaneously.
He's hoping to win one big fight and then remax so hard that he then just walks over.
He's taking over the Terran territory. This is like the campaign right now.
Single player, man.
Okay, here we go. Rogue coming in with so many Banelings going after those ghosts. The ghosts trying to micro back right now, doing the best that they can. Look at those Banelings chase them down, though. Just crazy.
He basically wiped out the... No, there's still a little bit of ground army. There's two Ultras here. Now, Zerg is trying to remax as well. Terran at 115, supply to 160. That's a pretty big difference. Can he take out these ghosts? No, I'm sorry, he doesn't have vision.
Yeah, he has nothing left on the ground, but he killed almost all of the air, right? There's a handful of medevacs left. Every Liberator's dead. Well, he killed most of the ghosts.
He's going for the add-ons here, so he can't remax like he was actually hoping to just yet. Might have almost been better.
Rogue is remaxing immediately. He's being way faster about it. TY still has some bank. And right now, Rogue is up 60 supply in army. So that is a big, big deal. Now, he has an advantage on this map right now.
I got to say, the next few decisions Rogue makes are super important, because now that he has this lead, he just has to make a few right plays. The question is TY going to let him? TY is actually just starting to float command centers over to this location. Note he's not sending SCVs. He's just firing mules over there, seeing how much of those minerals he can gather up, and then he'll eventually sack those. Or they'll expire, and then he'll lift off if that gets attacked.
Yeah.
This is actually a pretty crazy, like, guerrilla econ way to play, since the top expansion and the bottom expansion are the only bases that really have, you know, rich patches of minerals in which you could mine from. So watch, he's probably going to just lip this here.
Okay, Rogue's going to deal with whatever he can. Rogue is about to have 3-2 for his Flyers. Of course, he has 3-3 already for the Lings and Ultras. This is just wild. Oh, puts those down and actually goes in to surround those ghosts. Nice cloak, though.
Yeah, very good cloak back there. You could see Rogue has flirted with the idea of busting through the center here, but then backs off every time that occurs.
There are a ton of Banelings out, by the way, once again.
That's right. 45.
I think he's going to chase down those ghosts. You know, I was thinking before a lot of the games I've watched, I'm like, oh, I feel like they should have more infestors for the ghosts, but I like this mass Bane style if your economy will do it, because he dealt with, the ghosts have to run. They can't snipe or stand to fight the Banelings, or they just die.
Yeah, and I think occasionally snipe is just too dangerous. A lot of times it's up to Terran just being very good at that and not even really up to the finesse of the Zerg otherwise, if you're going for Ultras, for instance. So doing a play like that, I think it's pretty smart to go for the Banelings. Now, of course, they have to connect, or you've just wasted even more gas.
Yeah.
Now, once again, that guerrilla mining from this base. Remember, guys, he keeps not sending SCVs. He just lands that, and then the moment Zerg leaves it, he fires all his mules back down. Even if those mules don't return the minerals, doesn't matter. They're
it's
not
still
going
free.
to Zerg.
Yeah,
it's still free.
Eventually, he's going to have to repair the command center a little bit or whatever, but Rogue is doing a good job trying to stop him from mining there. Look, he's getting ready to long-distance mine once again from this base. Dude, we could have a mined-out map. It's possible. I don't think it's going to happen, but we could get this down to just completely mined out.
Terran beginning to leapfrog the Widow mines up here. Zerg with a very scary army, but of course, if Zerg overextends with it, it's going to get completely obliterated here. I can't believe this. So the hatch is done. Rogue doesn't even cancel it.
Yeah. Sending a lot of drones up there as well. Oh, good snipes right there by TY. Oh, so value.
Is he going to get that hatch? No.
So value mini snipe. Wow.
Well, I'm not sure what the situation is in the bottom left. I don't know how many minerals are there, nor are we really getting a shot of the upper right, so it's kind of a guesstimation at this point in time. But a big amount of tension here in the top center. I mean, just this is getting to a boiling point here.
This is better than a movie. This is so crazy right now. The Baneling's rolling in.
He's coming in right now into the right to the turrets, actually. The Banelings are going to try to draw all the way back to the Ghosts. Most of the Ghosts do survive. Not an adequate army. The Overseers go down. The Corruptor's taking a lot of hits.
Rogue was not efficient enough in this one, I think, Tasis. There was enough bio there. The Banelings did not get the hits that they really needed.
That might be the critical mass that was lost there for Rogue, because he only has, a couple Lings and Banelings being remade.
His economy's really weak at the moment. I wish we could get a mineral check at all the bases. I can kind of see what's left on the mineral patches. It looks like TY is almost mined out. And he doesn't have that big of a bank. Both of the guys' incomes are very, very low. The thing is, the army, the standing army of TY is absolutely better than what Rogue has.
I gotta say, unfortunately, that last big attack that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back there, because that was just so much gas units lost. I mean, not even just the Ultras, so many of the Corruptors, the Banelings, it was even just the Overseers, which I think a lot of times people don't factor in as a big gas cost when you're trying to get those ghosts, but you need a lot of them if you're actually going to make sure that things connect with it.
Oh, jeez.
So is this checkmate up here at the top center? I think if Terran can actually adequately mine from this, there's nothing else that can be done. And with this many ghosts, as long as TY's on top of the snipes, he should be able to trade so favorably.
You would think so, but if Rogue can maybe take that bottom right base, like the base that would normally be TY's, and lets TY long distance mine from this base, maybe he can still do something. But these snipes are just, the efficiency of the snipes and the way that TY is handling this game right now is downright inspiring. Like, keeping the bio in front, like, these setups he's making, everything about this is so well played from both sides.
Well, this isn't even a game about how strong Terran is. This is how strong TY is. And frankly, I got to say, Rogue is doing this insane job. I think if this was any other Terran in the world, Zerg would have won this game. But
I agree. Like, maybe Maru could do something similar, but like TY has this different style, and he's like making this work with these turrets and everything. I love this. Very cost efficient there. Takes out a bunch of depots.
Now,
TY does not even have the money to really replace those right now.
Also, keep in mind here, they are starting to get a little bit sparse on these bases. If Zerg can maybe drive this back, this is a long distance for Terran to try to push through. You know, and I think this is a great way Rogue is handling this, is to shift his attention over here in the southern region of the map. Since there was so much friction at the top, and he might be able to then counterattack at some point in time at the top. You got to remember, guys, Ghosts are not fast units.
No.
Okay, they're actually very, very clunky and slow. So trying to draw attention down here at the bottom is pretty smart, because the Ghosts are sort of the linchpin unit whenever you're trying to engage.
Yeah, well, Ghosts are so positional, right? Like, you can't just like attack and move them across the map. You have to have them in the right spot so they can hit their spells. They're expensive. You do not want them going down easily.
Artie, bottom left side of the map is mined out. This is the only thing that Rogue has. Now, Rogue has...
There's only two bases left on the map that actually really have minerals. It's the top center and bottom center.
Now, important to note, Rogue has a ton of gas and TY does not. So any tech units TY loses are not really replenishable. At least not that replenishable.
Yeah, no, it's crazy right now that what we see. And TY is supply cap. This is like such a funny thing that we're seeing. When he lost those depots this late in the game, it's hard to remake them.
Well,
He's probably just supply dropping, to be honest.
That was about a quarter of his depots.
Yeah.
Down there at that wallet. Okay, so he's a little bit of a hiccup in the income, but that actually sometimes can be enough to do it. He can actually he's allowed to lose drones here.
Yeah,
actually, he shouldn't be this
He's got
conservative.
32 drones.
He's got 32. You can't even.
He only needs 16 drones for the rest of this game.
Right.
It's like kind of funny, but it is true.
Yeah. Okay, so he's actually got this location now. With this influx of minerals coming in, he could start to make a lot of very important gas units. And if he remix a gas army, you know what? Rogue could win this game. If he's really good at sniping and he's not losing his own gas units, that would be the game plan here for Rogue.
Now, Rogue, also, this is so funny because TY needs, I feel like Rogue is eventually going to kill the bottom right. And TY might have to just float everything towards the top right, possibly, because he can't keep repositioning this super technical turtley army that he has, where the Ghosts have to be a certain distance from everything, and he needs the turrets and the mine set up, the Liberators in their liberation zones. It's hard for him to move back and forth, back and forth.
I got to jump in here for a second or two. Let's also remember that the top center, now he's Terran's freeing up supply there in case you guys are confused.
Yeah.
It's like, get that last mineral patch. So what's also important to note is that Zerg in the top center, when Zerg was there, sucked up a lot of the resources. So even though TY has that, that's a pretty dry expansion. He's going to mine that up pretty fast. And then it's just going to be the remaining units. We actually might have the entire map mined out. What is going on?
This is just too crazy. By the way, imagine if TY did a mine drop. There's like every drone he has is at that base right now.
Oh, that's a good point.
He has like 40
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, okay, nice pick off
here. This
here.
may be the climax here. He has to drive him back.
I want to see Rogue can't. I don't think Rogue can beat that. I think that Rogue should go to the top and kill that mining base for TY. I think, screw it. If he's setting up everything down here, why give him this fight?
I don't know if he is, Artosis.
All right, those Widow Mines get some good connections. A lot of them do go down, though. He has these spines helping out. This is awesome. He brought down all of his static D as well. This is Rogue's real last stand, Tasteless. He just cannot replace this army.
Okay, he's continuing to back up. Every second that Zerg continues to mine from this expansion is critical. Zerg is trying to amass as much as humanly possible. Again, good snipes there with those Ghosts.
Dude, he just doesn't really have anything left. He has one Ultra, and this is Ling Bane. Like, even if he kills that army, Ling Bane dies with it. So, he can't really remake anything.
All right, he's going to try to come up here. He needs to get these Ghosts, and he needs to get him quickly.
Oh, those Banelings need to roll past right now. Those Widow Mines! Doesn't look like they get that good of hits. So the Banelings rolling up after these Ghosts, and no, it's not going to be enough. GG! Whoa!
That game was insane!
What a game! Holy crap! That was crazy!
Man. What a game,
TY taking down Rogue 2-0. But I tell you what, Rogue played two fantastic games. I don't know if Fumio's going to beat Rogue. Like, can Gumiho do what TY did here?
I don't know, man. I don't think so. Wow. Well, I gotta say, even though Rogue was 2-0'd, I can't really say that Rogue should be that disappointed, especially with that last game. That was really something else.
I don't know, like, the position TY was in and how much Rogue had there. I don't know that any Terran other than TY really would have won that. The way that he was so patient and moved around with his turrets, his Widow Mines, his Liberators, used the Ghosts the way that he did. No other Terran really plays such a positionally perfect game like TY. This is why he's, like, the best Terran in the world.
I think a lesser Terran would have just kept trying to push and not done like a hard push, you know, and that's when you have the turrets there with the Liberators with the range in the back, which makes that just much tougher to break.
It's so ridiculous.
That really forced Rogue to have to play at like the next level. Also, what a special game, because we don't normally see it where the map is nearly mined out. There's only 2 bases left. Terran was running out of minerals at the top. If Terran didn't win that pretty quickly, Zerg would end up with more resources and could have possibly won that game. So, really impressive stuff. Wow.
Stupidly good game. That is like, that could end up being the game of the year. Who knows? Like, it was that
it's
good.
One of the best ones we've had all year for sure.
Yeah, just awesome.
We are going to go to a short break. When we come back, we're going to go on to our second best of 3 in tonight's GSL Code S. Stay tuned.
You lit a cigarette as I watched you walk away, turn to a silhouette. But your words will never fade. I know I'm hanging on, and you still numb the pain. I gave it everything, everything, but we still lost the way.
있는 그대로 맑고 깨끗하게 피어나라고 겨울을 이겨낸 봄꽃이 내게 말했다. 맑고 깨끗한 칠성사이다.
신세계. Every day. 냠냠냠냠. 유기요.
대결의 룰을 아십니까? 승리한 자는 패배한 자의 트로피를 뺏습니다. 그리고 그의 자존심까지도. 클래시 로얄.
이 인형이 너의 슬픔을 씻어줄 것이다. RPG의 검은 획을 긋다. 크라이.
내 뒤에서 먼지나 먹으시지.
기분 째지는데?
질서와 수호를 위해서라면
마귀 화염이.
누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지.
나는 KT 기가 인터넷. 당신과 끊김없이 게임을 즐기죠. 어디서나 우린 함께해요. 어때요? 나랑 콜라보 하실래요? 당신의 KT.
치고끼는 역시 배달통. 배달의 힘 배달통.
중요한 것은 언제나 안개에 쌓여 있다. 그저 나아갈 뿐.
메이플 스토리 2 신규 직업 소울 바인더.
오호, 물로 지금 거의 뭐 수분을 그냥 갖다 들이붓는 것 같아요. 자, 바른 쪽과 안 바른 쪽입니다. 차이 보여드릴게요. 내가 발라봤는데 대표는 앞으로 그냥 나도 찍어 발라야 될 것 같아요. 잘 봐요. 자, 이렇게 깔끔하게 아래쪽만 다듬어도 선이 딱 살아있잖아요. 선 라인 자체가. 잠깐만. 이런 느낌이구나. 허허. 오늘 여러 가지 제품들 올리브영에서 제가 지금 제품을 받아서 사용을 해봤는데 굉장히 좋은 것 같아요. 올리브영 제품이 짱인 것 같습니다.
기가 IoT 헬스. 올레 TV 켜고 퍼팅하고
바이크 타고 체지방 체크까지 실감나게 재밌다. 기가 IoT 헬스. 김지원의 KT.
How you star? Every day. 유기요.
네, 여러분 안녕하세요. 2016년 제주항공 모델 송중기입니다. 리프레쉬 제주예요.
답답할 때 마셔봐요 트로피카나. 상큼상큼 과일 듬뿍 스파클링. 리얼 프루트를 스파클링으로 과즙이 톡톡 쏜다. 트로피카나 스파클링.
스타일? 상쾌하면 되는 거야. 상쾌함의 높이가 다르다.
Stylish sparkling water. 롯데 트래비.
제주항공과 함께하는 2016년 컬러런 항공 승무원과 함께 반갑습니다.
장난 아니다. 막 채팅창 반응이 뜨겁습니다.
제주항공이 주최하는 칼라런답게
네, 최고 LCC로
활약을 하셔서 여행하실 수 있게 도와드립니다. 제주항공 화이팅!
그런 팀들이 여러 가지가 있는데
제주항공은 이벤트 회사 같은.
괜찮아요? 어때요? 춤춘다! 제주항공은
처음이지?
제주항공 앞으로 평생 탈게요.
소리 벗고 팬티 질러!
제주항공 화이팅! 바바랑 화이팅!
미소가 생기다. 화사함이 생기다. 건강한 하루가 생기다. pH 8.0과 풍부한 미네랄로 핑크빛 생기가 생기다. 아이시스 8.0. 이제 모두 핑크하세요.
Welcome back, guys. This is the GSL Codas, and man, are we already having a fantastic night.
That was such a stupidly good
such
game.
a cool game, man.
Frozen Temple, guys. If you are just tuning in, well, I mean, you made one of the biggest mistakes of your life by not tuning in one game before. It was like 35 minutes or so of absolute ridiculously awesome battle between TY and Rogue.
So TY is on in the winner's match. He's still not managed to escape from this group, but we're going to the other side of the group now, which is going to be Gumiho against Classic. This should be a very interesting match. Now, the winner obviously goes on to face off against TY, while the loser goes on to face off against Rogue. And frankly, both those players are looking absolutely terrifying. So you can already see, at least with our first best of 3 out of the way, that this is going to be a really, really tough group for everybody.
No, it's crazy when you're looking at it and you're like, who is the unfavorite here? Is it like, is Gumiho? Gumiho's on fire lately. This guy is doing so well for his team, for his individual results as well. He's got a great and exciting style also. I think this matchup, though, for him could be a little bit tough. He's very, very, very into things like Marine Tank in Terran versus Protoss.
That's right.
And Classic is very into Colossus, which is a good counter to that. So I feel like stylistically, Classic should have a little bit of an edge here.
There's also the fact that Classic just has a lot of really weird builds that are kind of specific to Classic as well. So let's see if Classic doesn't try to throw him off a little bit. Classic is also playing with the dilemma that it's not just Gumiho, who he for sure is playing against. There's a high chance he has to play against TY as well, who of course, due to our rules, is completely and totally allowed to watch this match.
Yeah.
So that's another problem, right? So does Classic maybe? Of course, it's a little bit of a gamble. I wouldn't even say a gamble, actually. I guess it's a little bit risky. He has to kind of assess where he is and where Gumiho is to decide what builds he needs to use in case he wants to store some maybe even stronger ones in his eyes against TY.
Yeah, you know, they definitely have different styles, Gumiho and TY. They're both very good at multitasking, but I feel like TY is all about the multitasking. He's going to just kind of be everywhere and pull you out of position, whereas Gumiho is more likely to do some like tank-based attacks. So I think if Classic does this just right, maybe a more standard game against TY, and maybe you know, really considering Colossus tech against Gumiho.
All right, our map lineup: Frozen Temple, Dust Towers, and if we go to set number 3, GSL Judgment.
Yeah, not surprised by the vetoes of Classic. I think those are great vetoes on Gumiho's side. I love the new Gettysburg veto. Rackshear is kind of interesting, though. We've seen Terrans do pretty well against Protoss there in the past, but it can be a little bit difficult securing that third, so I guess it makes sense.
Okay, guys, we are moments away from starting this game here. Very, very tough group we've got tonight. Both these players are good. Frankly, either one could win here. Out of all the groups we had, this is one of the toughest ones to figure out who the hell is going to get out of this, you know?
I think it's whoever's playing best on that day. And so far, these guys are going to have to show their all to be playing better than Rogue and TY.
This is our last group in the round of 16. We have 4 players total. Only 2 survive to move on to the round of 8. Our second best of 3 tonight, Gumiho versus Classic in tonight's GSL Codex. In the upper left, in the blue, our other Terran player in the group.
MVP Chicken Maru.
It's kind of like Rogues.
You beat me too. I was going to say, taking a note from the Rogue pose here.
Yeah, his smile was a little bit too big, though. He didn't look as mean as Rogue, as tough.
Didn't look
as streetwise.
As punk rock as Rogue did back there. And his opponent in the red, in the bottom right, he is
SK Telecom T1 Classic.
Okay. Here we are.
Yes, here we are, Tosis. Isn't this an interesting time to be alive when we have studios filled up with people watching the greatest gamers duke it out?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best times. Welcome, everyone.
Love you guys. Thanks for coming down. Hope you're enjoying the games.
Got Oli Moly in the audience tonight. Definitely did not get the headset. Doesn't want to listen to what we have to say.
But how will she learn about the game without our commentary?
So, I mean, it's just like a standard opener here from both sides. Or, wait, Cybernex Core actually. No, that was after the.
I've never seen that in a PVT.
Like a Cybernex Core. I'm like, what?
You don't make that in a PVT.
What are you trying to make?
Everyone knows you just make cannons and gateways.
Mass sentries? Like, yeah.
Maybe he's got to get air attack right away. I don't know.
You know, I feel like, I guess we'll have to see how Classic looks winning this, but I feel like TY is just going to get out of this group in first place after what we saw there.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were saying he could lose, and I mean, it's actually not ridiculous to say. I mean, it clearly wasn't easy. I mean, especially that last game that he had against Rogue, but I mean, the fact that TY was playing that well.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Classic or Gumiho blow us away with the greatest play this year, I can't imagine that we would be saying TY is at risk of not getting out. I mean, we'll see.
Okay, so Reaper coming in. Hasn't seen that Stargate yet. It did just go up. Okay, sees it now. And he should know what that is, even if he didn't click on it, just by its size and time. So, no big surprise. Definitely Oracles have come back big into the metagame, and it looks like TY wants to go immediately into a Cyclone. I'm very excited to see if he's going to do a Cyclone push, because Cyclones are, like, TY used this at the Pro League Finals, and it was, like, really, really cool stuff.
Okay, yeah, let's see how this does. We've definitely seen Gumiho, it's sort of a trademark move of his to get the Cyclone. Now, Gumiho is, like, easily one of the best Terrans in the world. Probably easily one of the best Terrans of all time. If you look at how consistent he's been since the beginnings of GSL.
He has been consistent.
It's pretty crazy. But he's somebody who likes us more than the rest of the players. It does show that Gumiho marches to his own beat, but it also makes me wonder if this is truly the best way to play, or if it's just the a window into the mind of Gumiho and how he likes to handle this kind of stuff.
Well, we saw this on Wednesday. Someone did a Cyclone type of push, and it was pretty cool. And of course, TY did one, and we haven't seen it like win a whole bunch yet, but by getting that additional damage on it, it just, like, Cyclones can wreck face. So we're definitely going to be seeing a Cyclone Marine type push, probably with bunkers. And I think Gumiho, like, he's one of the best Cyclone users out there.
And, really nicely done so far. Actually took out that one adept. We see the Oracle gonna loop around here. Classic is gonna have to be very careful because, of course, with the Cyclone available, it's not gonna be easy for him if he loses this. If Classic loses the Oracle, it's due to the Cyclone just hitting it.
He definitely needs it to stay alive.
For sure.
And he does have the second one coming out as well. If he has a decent amount of gateway units with that, he definitely can deal a lot of damage very quickly. But here the Cyclones go.
Okay, the Cyclone Archon. That's me in the back not attacking, and Artosis, I'm making you do all the work. Okay, 3 Cyclones!
And he's going to get both of them. Wow.
It goes down. Oh, my God.
Oh, Classic
my
just
God.
sighed so hard.
Oh, yeah, I was about to bring that up. He is not happy with that. That is not supposed to happen.
Yeah, and he's just going to die.
This
There's
is
no
gonna
way
game.
he's holding this. Just no way. He does have another Oracle coming out. It's not enough, though, with those 3 Cyclones coming up and this many Marines.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. That's it. That's it.
Wow.
GG.
So well done, catching those 2 Oracles, ending it so quickly. This is a very scary thing to see. In fact, like, if you go Stargate and a Terran knows, they like to use this build right now. We saw it. TY used it against SOS in the Pro League. We saw Maru attempt to use it against Myungshik, but Myungshik, once his Stargate got scouted, actually canceled and then countered the Cyclone build and was able to pick up that victory because of that. So, I mean, this is quite a trend right now in the metagame.
It really does show you how Legacy is still pretty fresh as an expansion.
Yeah.
The game just keeps evolving. Remember when Cyclones were never used, and then you only get one of them for defensive purposes, and now it's like, no, these are fine.
Yeah, you
just get a couple of them.
You make 3-4 against Protoss in the early game, absolutely. If they're going for a Stargate, this can be a fantastic unit for you.
The Cyclone's a funny unit because you can actually get in fights where you're not even trading damage.
Yeah.
You just insta-kill stuff. It's almost like fungal or something. You know, where it's like if you get good fungals and corrosive piles off, all the Zerg did was spend mana or energy or whatever you want to call it.
This is a cooldown.
Yeah, this is a cooldown. So that was crazy. Classic may have to shift gears a little bit here. Next map coming up is Dusk Towers.
Okay, Dusk Towers. Can Gumiho do it? Tasteless. Classic is down 1 game.
I don't know where to find out. I didn't know you were passing that to me. Sorry.
MVP Chicken Maru, Gumiho.
Scrub tier. Tasteless here.
Okay, let's see if he can do it. I don't know.
SK Telecom T1, Classic.
Well, this was our worst intro for the GSL so far. We can only go up from here.
Let's just be quiet for the whole series.
All right.
It's like a very artistic cast, to just not say anything for a whole game. They're like, wow, that was one of the best casts of all time.
What they got to do is put that little camera that we had when Guri was on in the opening, put us on camera there, and we just explain what's happening in the game at the bottom right-hand side of the screen through interpretive dance. We're basically like that guy in the bottom right side of the TV that's for all the deaf people, but whenever I watch TV, I'm like, I just can't stop looking at this the entire time, and I'm not even watching the real TV show.
Learning sign language slowly but surely.
You ever see that thing that, excuse me, you ever see that thing that happened at Nelson Mandela's funeral?
No.
Where there was like some guy was doing sign language in the bottom right, and it turned out he didn't know sign language.
Are you serious?
It was so weird. It was like this like fake guy. Like,
oh my god, it's so weird.
Like, what is going on in this guy's mind? He's completely insane. How did he get there? I don't know. Anyways, in this game, we got both players expanding into the back of their base. This is obviously the map where you get the free base in the back. Doesn't mean that you can't do things to exploit somebody or take advantage of, a player who tries to do that. But this is pretty par for the course. We've definitely seen a lot of games on this map at this point in time after casting this much legacy.
Yeah, well, this map has been so overplayed, it's actually insane at this point. There's like nothing, it feels like there's like nothing new to see on it, but looks like Gumiho is actually going to go into probably that stim attack that we normally see reserved for playing against Zerg. The 2 medevacs and the very fast stim. So that's kind of interesting if this is what his aim is for this game against Classic. It's not something that Protosses play against all too often.
I got to say, by the way, if I was Gumiho after that last game, so confident going into this. I mean, that was almost like, I don't want to say a free win because he played really well, but talk about not having to use up too much of your energy or even really showing your opponent what your mid-game and late game really look like.
Yeah, it was, he kind of hard-countered him in a way. So I wonder if it gets into like a more standard macro game where Classic isn't just like completely slain right off, though. Can Gumiho still pick up that victory?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think the answer is it's definitely possible. I mean, Gumiho, that was probably the best way he could have possibly won that back there, was a quick win. I mean, he completely slayed him. So Gumiho is in about the best shape imaginable.
Yeah.
Right over here. We see the Widow Mine burrowing. You can see our observer showing us that's actually behind the satellite thing. At least there's 300 channels.
Thing,
300 channels at least in for TV stations inside the command
There's
center.
Like 9 soccer channels. Ooh. Okay, the scout was actually fantastic though. He sees exactly what the build is. He's like, wait a minute, I'm not Zerg though. Why are you doing that? But you can use it against Protoss. The thing is, I think that Classic, after scouting that and with the build he's already chosen, should be completely fine. Just make Stalkers non-stop from here.
Yeah, from here you want to be trying to absorb every medevac drop, and ideally...
I think there'll be a full frontal attack, likely.
But you might be right, actually. I have seen people that try to do drop plays like this, but if he can actually eat these up with Blink, if it is like just drop harass, 'cause sometimes even if you do go to the front, they'll then loop around and try to go to the back here. Note the observer was not spotted. It should actually veer out of the main here and then peek in later on. See how it's in the corner over here?
And look at that.
Wow.
Ooh,
good spot.
Perfectly spotted right there with the observer. So he knows where they are, how long it's going to take to get down there. He is warping in Stalkers non-stop. Has those couple of depths as well. Those are going to help him out. And Blink is about to finish. I can't imagine.
Okay, hold up. Here we go.
Ooh.
Cat-like reflexes on Gumiho.
Yeah.
Picks up now.
He's not going to get any damage done, is he?
No.
Right?
I mean,
like, there's just no way.
No, hold on. I think actually Classic's being too greedy. He went out with the Stalkers. The medevacs, this always happens, but the medevacs are going to go southbound right there, I think.
Okay, another medevac coming out as well. Those medevacs are going southbound. They're going for the Twizzler drop.
Twizzler drop.
Yeah, no, man. This is not a horseshoe. It's a straight line. Tries to drop there, but Classic's just ready. He's ready everywhere.
He's basically split his army up pretty perfectly here.
Yeah.
Really Classic stepping up his game from our previous game. We're going to have another drop here. Observer there to spot by Classic. Again, Classic playing so well.
Okay, Blink's right in, and oh, man.
Look at the Widow Mine!
Wow, he actually gets out with this, so that's really good.
Oh, my God.
Oh, what? That gets the Observer. That Widow Mine was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know if Gumiho knows that it hit the observer or not. I don't know if he was watching at that point in time. Normally you're like already devoting your APM to something else, but that was pretty funny.
The thing is, Classic hasn't taken any damage from this. Gumiho is going to have his command center finish up his third one, so that's kind of nice. And he has a good army. He hasn't really lost anything himself, but this is a semi-aggressive build that he did. And Classic is able to get into double forge. He has tons of units. He's going to take his fourth base really, really soon, most likely. And I imagine he's going to make a warp prism at this point and go for some pressure. Keep that third base. Make sure Gumiho's not being too greedy.
Okay, we see another scan over here. Really classic and good position. Now, will Gumiho just go for it? I think this is unwise. Let's see if these other Stalkers come down here. Nice shooting there. Manages to take out that sentry. But, of course, his Stalkers are now going to try to target